Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. As you can see in the title, this is going to be a tutorial on how to make a layered ruffled mini skirt. This video was highly requested. I know it took me forever to just make this tutorial, but I was kind of busy and there was all the videos I was trying to get out the way first. When I made the mini skirt, I really did not like it. It's so funny. I thought it was so ugly until I posted a TikTok and everybody loved it. And I was scrolling on Pinterest and I seen myself 3 times. Oh wow, am I famous? But one thing I've noticed about layered mini skirts is that there's 2 ways of making it. I see a lot of crocheters, they make the fitted skirt first, like a straight fitted skirt, you're working around, and then they add the layers after. How I did it was I started the band. As you can see, I'm gonna put little stickers or pictures of it. I started a band, and then I started the ruffles. I did 3 rows of that ruffle, but I worked in the front loop, flipped that over, went back, and started working in the back loop to start on the other layer. And I kept on continuing that the more layers I added. Most of the clothes I make, they are free-handed. If you've been watching me for a while, you follow me on TikTok, you should know that by now. So sometimes I stray away from making certain tutorials because I'm literally just winging it. I might be breaking the crochet rules. I don't know. I'm probably not doing it right. There's probably a better way of making what I'm making, but listen, it looks good. So the outcome is great, so that's all that really matters to me. So when I made this skirt, and one of the reasons why I was avoiding making the tutorial was because I had messed it up. I never made a layered ruffled skirt before, and if you look, you can see there's literally what do you call these? Stitch markers. The stitch markers are holding it up because when I went back to work into the back loops, I made this a little longer and it was way too long, and the ruffle, I want the ruffles to start underneath here. You'll get it when we get to that point. You'll understand. But I did remake this skirt for a customer and it came out so freaking pretty. I have to put the picture, the video up here, and it was way perfect, it was way more perfect compared to this one because I know what I was doing. So for materials, I honestly don't remember what hook I used, but I'll usually use around 4.5 up to 5.5, maybe 6, but 4.5 to 5.5, that's where I work. I switch my hooks a lot, so definitely from 4.5 to 6. I used way more yarn in this because I made this part way too long, but I use literally 95% of one of those big what's it called, the Red Heart Saver yarn, one of those bigger skeins, not the bigger skeins, but the regular ones you get in the store. I forgot how many grams they have, and I don't really know how to calculate grams, but when I find the label, I'll put it up on the screen. So I used about 98% of it, and the purple yarn was actually mohair yarn. It was a mixture of mohair and impeccable from Loops and Threads, and you don't need as much because and then we have it lined with fur. Now there's 2 different ways of making the amount of chains that go around your waist. You can use a measuring tape, measure your waist, or your lower waist near hip area, and line it up, make the amount of chains that line up to what's on your measuring tape. Or you can just make a certain amount of chains and wrap it around that lower waist or that upper hip area and see if it fits. You also want to make sure that if you have a very, 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 very small waist and a very wide hip, don't make it exactly your waist, because it's not going to you're not going to be able to put that shit all over your hip. So make sure it can fit your waist and it can also pull over your hips and your thighs if you're very thick. Now we're going to connect this here to the beginning and we're going to go into that first chain and slip stitch. So the first chain is right here. Let's get in there. Okay, so it should be like this on your hook, and then we're gonna chain 2. We're just gonna put a single crochet into every chain until we get to the end here. Now when we get to the end, you're going to chain into that top chain like right here, and then we're going to double crochet into every chain. We're gonna do that all the way to the end, and we're doing 2 rows of double crochets with the other color. Okay, I'm back, and now we're gonna work on the 4th row, and here is where we're gonna color change. So we did the single crochets, the 2 rows of the double crochets, and now we're going to end this row off in color change. I just said that. Okay, so now this is a different way of how I color change. So I'm gonna put the hoop into that first chain at the beginning of the row, and then I'm gonna grab the color or the new color, the new yarn, whatever that I'm gonna be using, pull that through there and pull it through this hoop, and then I'm gonna pull on the pink yarn just to make it a little tighter. Then we're gonna chain 2, and boom, and then I just honestly I tie it here, and then I would like weave it in. Not doing that right now. And now I'm going to do the row of single crochets. Remember, every time I color change to blue, I'm doing single crochets. So I'm gonna do single crochets all around here, and then we're gonna move on to the linked double crochets. And I'm finished with that row of single crochets. Now we're moving on to the next part of the skirt, which would be here. So this is what we just completed. I don't know why my nails look so dirty, but now we're moving on to here. So here I did half double crochets. I'm not doing this again because this is honestly time consuming. But I did that here because I wanted the stitch from here to be different from the top part here, and I don't want it to be see-through. So instead we're gonna do double linked crochet or linked double crochet. But if you want to do the half double crochets instead, you can. But that's just what I did here, and I'm doing something completely different here. For the linked double crochet, I'm gonna show you how to do it. But if you still don't understand it, you definitely could click out the video. Watch the tutorial, it's very easy. And you could come back to the video. So I'm probably gonna do, since the linked double crochets are a little more bigger, so I'm probably gonna do only like maybe 4 rows. In the original I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I did like 6 to 7 rows of half double crochets. We don't have to do all of that because we're using a bigger stitch or whatever. So I'm gonna double crochet into that same space, and then now I'm going to go through these little 2, I wanted to through here and here, those 2, I wanted to focus. Come on, focus now. These 2 back loops right here, I mean front loops of the double crochet, we're going through there. So make sure I'm gonna do that. So the first one, I'm in through the first one here, and now the other one there. I'm gonna yarn over, pull through, get into the next chain or stitch that we're supposed to work in, yarn over, pull through, and then we double crochet. And that's how I do my linked double crochet. I'm gonna go through these 2 spaces again, pull through, yarn over, pull through, double crochet. And now I'm going to continue doing this until I get around like the 4th row. And I'm done with the the length crochet. The length double crochets. I did 5 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I did around 5 rows. I don't know if I like how it looks, because I don't like how it changes from like, okay, the double crochets over here and then into the length double crochets and then back to the double crochet. I don't know. But if you don't like how this looks, you can always do half double crochets instead, like in the original. So now we're moving on to the next row where we're color changing and doing the single crochet. And I'm trying to make sure they're around the same length. Let's see. Yep, they are around the same length. Okay, I'm finished with that row. Now we're moving on to the first layer. What I got around here, I did size up my hook. Now I'm gonna size up again for the ruffles, and I think I'm gonna use a 5.5. For the last skirt that I did for the customer, when I increased, I did 3 increases in one stitch and then no increases in the next. So it'll basically be like 3 stitches in here, 1 in here, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3. That's what I did. If you want yours more ruffled, you add more increases. So in this skirt, there's more, like, it's way more ruffled compared to the recent one I've made. Look at how ruffled this is. And for this, I did, let's see. So basically 3 stitches in here, 2 stitches, 3 stitches, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3. So you can really just play around with it as long as you're putting more than 3 stitches, or you're increasing 3 times in one or every other stitch, you should be good. For this, I probably might just play around with it. Actually, no. So I'm going to put a color change, and I'm going to chain 2. Or, well, I already chained 2. I'm going to double crochet into the same space. Now, I forgot to mention that we're only working for this. We're only working into the front loop. We're only working in that's front loop. So you see the back. So on. You see this is the back loop. And then we have the front loop over here, back, front. We're only working in these front loops for this row. So I chain 2. I'm gonna put my first double crochet into that first front loop over here. So right in here, hold on, got it. Pull through 2, pull through 2. And I'm going to put 3 double crochets into that next first loop. So let me get into that first loop. Pull through 2, pull through 2. Now 2 more of those. And you should get the concept by now. We're only working in the front loop. Okay, I'm done with the first row of the ruffle. This is what it's looking like so far. And now for the second row, chain 2. And now for this row, we're going to double crochet into every chain, into every stitch. No increases, no decreases, and we're doing 2 rows. In total, it should be 3 rows of ruffles. Okay, I'm back and I'm finished with the 4 rows. I think in the beginning I said 3, but I'm actually doing 4 rows of double crochet. Now when we're done with this, we're gonna go underneath and work into these back loops. So I ended off the blue over here, chain 2, and we're just doing a double crochet in all of these back loops over here. And here is where I'm gonna size up. You can size up to like a 6.5. I'm gonna size up to a 6. The goal is to make a certain amount of rows that will be as long as like up to here. We want to start the ruffles around here. So remember earlier I was talking about this row, so let me take this down. You said I did mine's come way too long compared to this. I don't know why I did that, but this little layer, the next layer that we're working on, needs to be shorter than here. So if I did only 2 of these instead of like, or maybe 3 rows of double crochet, it would have been perfect. But I want the ruffle to start under here. The next ruffle to start under here. So we ruffle, not ruffle this layer here, and then the next ruffle, like, no. So I would have to do at least 1, 2, 3, probably 3 rows until I start on the ruffles. You can start the ruffles here, it's just that you're gonna end up using way more yarn. It's gonna be way more work. So that's why I start that little layer first and then start the ruffles when we're getting towards the end here, which will be underneath here. I already have the yarn attached here from the last row, from the single crochet. So I'm gonna get in here, chain 2, 1, 2, and I'm sized up to a 6 mm, double crochet in here. So now to figure out if this piece is long enough, you want to, I would flip it inside out. Just like this. Flip it inside out, and that's how you kind of like tell if it's long enough. If I was to put another row, it would definitely be, yeah, no, it would be too long. And we're going to work in that front loop. So okay, it really depends on how many layers you're making. I might make 3 layers, so I'm working in the front loop again. If you're not and you're sure you're not gonna work make another layer, then you can just work in both loops for the next set of ruffles. So if you only want your ruffled skirt to only have 2 layers of ruffles, but you want it to at least cover your butt, then you will definitely have to make this ruffle longer. So I would probably add like 3 more rows onto here. It all depends on how big your hips are, how wide your hips are, how big your butt is, whatever. And then you just have to make this part a little longer. Now I'm going to switch back to my 5.5, already chain 2, and now we're going to work and well, I'm going to work in the front loop since I might add a 3rd layer. So we're putting 3 double crochets in that first loop there, and then 1 in the next. At this point you should understand what we're doing, so I'm just gonna come back when I'm finished with this layer of ruffle. Okay, finished with the 2nd layer. As you can see, I only did 4. And we're finished. If you want to make it yours longer, you can go ahead and do that, and probably also add more rows here so it wouldn't look odd. Or if you want to add another layer, you do the same thing. You go into here and then you work on the next layer through the back loops. But as of right now, I think I'm finished with this. If you want to add your firm trim, I usually do the fur trim with like a 5 or 5.5, and I do single crochets, no increases, no decreases, and then you know you tie it at the end. I mean, you stitch it and connect it when you get to the end of it. You know what I mean. But that's really it. I just have to weave in my ends. I was thinking about making it a little longer because my butt isn't hanging out of this, but honestly, I don't see myself ever wearing this anywhere. I don't know if I like the color, and like I don't feel comfortable in skirts anyway, so they're really just for pictures, to be honest, or TikTok. But now the last thing left to do besides weaving in our ends is making the drawstring, or like that little string here to tie the weight. So for that chain, for that string, you're going to chain the amount of chains that is thrice as long as the width of the waist of the skirt. That was a very complicated way to put it, but this is this is how I lay my skirt on a flat surface. Like here, I already measured mine, so it's long enough, but I'm just trying to demonstrate it really quick. And you're gonna stretch it from one point to the next point, which would be here and here. So this is one time, 2, and then 3. So I know this is long enough for the waist of the skirt, and now I'm just going to thread it in here with one of these. I think it's called like a yarn needle. I forgot the name of it. So now I'm gonna grab my yarn needle, and we're going to start threading it in the middle of the waistline or the waistband. So I usually just fold it in half. I already figured out where I'm gonna put it anyway. So, and then you find the middle, put it through here, and then you can put these through one, like here, or every 2 stitches, every 3, every 4. That's optional. I'm gonna do every 3. So up under 3, up, so up under 3, and then over 3. So like that. This is how it's gonna look. Up under 3 stitches, over 3 stitches, and this is what I'm gonna do until I get back to the beginning. And this is how mine came out. She's really cute. I'm so obsessed with these layered mini skirts. I don't think I like the color. I don't know. Let me know if this tutorial was helpful. If you remake it and you post it, tag me because I really want to see it, or you can just send me a picture if you made it. If you have any more questions, you can leave it in the comments, or you can also DM me. Thank you guys. I really appreciate you for supporting my YouTube channel and watching me. Thank you. Bye.